I'm Daniel Geretz, the Rabbi of Maayan in West Orange, New Jersey. This week's Torah portion is the double portion of Behar-Bechukotai, which can be found at the very end of Sefer Vayikra, the book of Leviticus. Parshat Bechukotai is predominated by the tochacha, which might be translated as a rebuke or warning. It is a chilling description of what is going to happen to us when we do not live godly lives. There is another tochacha which can be found in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and it's an interesting exercise to compare and contrast the two tochachot. The tochacha at the end of the book of Deuteronomy is phrased in the singular, and the tochacha here in Parshat Bechukotai is phrased in the plural. A classic answer to why they are different is that this rebuke was given shortly after the Jews went out of Egypt, when they were not yet a nation, rather a bunch of individuals together in the same place doing the same thing. And therefore it is phrased in the plural. The tochacha at the end of the book of Deuteronomy is at the very end of our 40-year sojourn in the desert, when we had become a nation about to enter the land of Israel. Therefore, it is fitting that the rebuke be phrased in the singular, because it is addressed to a nation, not to a bunch of individuals. There is another explanation for the difference in language. In our lives, we all, whether we want to or not, suffer various forms of tragedies. Each of those tragedies may be different, yet all of us suffer. When we suffer alone, our suffering is much, much more difficult than when we suffer those tragedies with the support of friends and loved ones. If you look at the rebuke in the book of Deuteronomy, it is exactly twice as long, 54 verses, as the rebuke here in the book of Leviticus. It is also phrased in the singular. That is what happens when one suffers alone, as an individual, without support. If you look at the rebuke in the book of Deuteronomy, at the very end, verse 68 in chapter 28, you'll see it does not have what we might call a happy ending. There is no message of hope. If you look at the rebuke here, chapter 26, verse 44, at the very end, you'll see that there is a message of hope. That is the difference in between suffering a tragedy alone and suffering a tragedy with the support of others. In the book of Psalms, chapter 91, if you look at verses 14 through 16, I'll quickly read them. Because they love me, says God, I will rescue them. I will protect them, for they acknowledge my name. They will call on me, and I will answer them. I will be with them in trouble. I will deliver them and honor them. With long life I will satisfy them and show them my salvation. We are all bid to emulate God. The same way that God is with individuals in times of trouble and distress, we, as godly individuals, need to emulate God and be with individuals in times of trouble and distress. Trouble and distress are unavoidable. They're unavoidable facts of being a human and living in this world. Given that they are unavoidable, it is incumbent on each and every one of us to be members of groups and communities and to be supportive of each other as we each suffer our own individual troubles and tragedies. It is my hope that all of you will consider being more involved in your communities and being there for other people, because that is really what is most important. Shabbat Shalom.